So good morning my viewers, how are you all? So welcome to Free Education and Inclusive Learning. Today we will be starting with our second part of cell. Today I have included some of the questions. We will be discussing the questions and getting into the concept on the chapter thoroughly. So each questions I will be discussing with you. Along with the answers you can go through that, how much points you have to write and all we can see. Okay, let's start. So coming to the topic, the cell, the basic unit of life, part 2. We'll be discussing this very short answer question types. Okay, all are ready, right? So first question, what is a cell? Okay, cell already we have discussed in the part 1. Cell is the basic unit of life, and it is the structural and functional unit of life in a living organism, and all the organelles and inclusions we were discussed. You can see in the picture that is, it is having a cell wall, proper cell wall. This it is a picture of animal cell, that is a eukaryotic cell. Okay, then you can see that blue color thing, it is labeled clearly. You can see the mitochondria, the cytoplasm, yellow color, and Golgi bodies apparatus are there. Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus are there, and the black dots on the cytoplasm are the ribosomes, and nucleus is the blue in color. Adhering to the nucleus, you can see this endoplasmic reticulum in foldings. It is parallelly arranged. Okay, that centrosomes are there. Then vacuoles are there, green color cavities you can see. Okay, nucleolus is there, which includes the DNA, the genetic material. Okay, that is the cell. So coming to the next one, that is question number 2. Name the two options are given. First one is smallest cell, and B is largest cell of the living world. Okay, coming to the answers, you can see that is A, the smallest cell is PPLO, that is mycoplasma. We have already seen in the part 1 chapters. Okay, PPLO, it is measuring about 0.1 mm to 0.5 mm. Okay, this is micrometers. Okay, and B, coming to the second option, that is B. Coming to the second option, B, that is largest cell of living world, that is egg of ostrich. You all have studied already in GK, also will be knowing this answer. It is about 170 into 135 mm. Okay, you can see the mycoplasma structure picture in and this in the diagram shown here, and you can see the ostrich egg, how big it is from the normal chicken egg. Okay, so this is the answer. Next, coming to the next question, who gave the statement omnis cellula acellula? Okay, this we discussed already in the part 1. This is Rudolf Virchow, means that omnis cellula acellula means that the cell arises from the pre-existing cells. Okay, Rudolf Virchow meant that, from that term he meant that cell arises from the pre-existing cells. Okay, hope you are clear from that. Those who have seen the part 1 will be more thorough with this one. Okay, try to update with the part 1 so you can get it more clear. Coming to the fourth question, it is regarding protoplasm, that is the name the substance present within a cell. So it is within a cell means name the substance present within a cell. There are many substances, right? Like substance means we can think about cytoplasm, right? But there are other things too, not only cytoplasm. So what is the substance present within a cell? So this is a new term not explained in the part 1. It is protoplasm. Protoplasm, it is the colorless material comprising the living part of a cell. Okay, It is a colorless material other than cell wall, cell membrane, and what is coming inside the cell is known as protoplasm. It is the living part of a cell. It is including cytoplasm, nucleus, organelles, inclusions, whatever is present inside the cell. Okay, except that cell wall and cell membrane, whatever things are coming inside a cell, the whole thing is called as protoplasm. Clear? So coming to next question, it's regarding the J. Purkinje. He was a scientist. Okay, we'll see the question. Name the scientist who coined the term protoplasm. So we saw what is protoplasm now, and who coined the term protoplasm? Scientist J. Purkinje in 1839. He was the person who coined the term protoplasm. Okay, and before that, in 1835, Dujardin, he was the first to discover the protoplasm, and he named it in another name, that is Charcot. Okay, he was the first one who discovered this protoplasm. Later, J. Purkinje gave it a defined term, that is protoplasm. So coming to the next question, we'll be going to glycocalyx. So question number 6, define glycocalyx. What is glycocalyx? Okay, glycocalyx is the outermost covering formed of macromolecules of a bacterial cell. Okay, glycocalyx is the outermost covering formed of a macromolecules of bacterial cell. You can see in the pictures, that is the fluid mosaic model we already discussed. It is fluid mosaic model with the peptidoglycan layer is present in the bacterial cell. It will be having proteins, globular proteins, peripheral proteins, embedded proteins are there, glycoproteins are there. So this glycocalyx is present on the outermost covering of this macromolecules of bacterial cell, like that you can see in the picture. Okay, this one is fluid mosaic model we discussed in first part of the cell. So hope we are clear with the pictures. So coming to the next question, I forgot to put the number, so I think it won't be issue for you. Okay, next question is, what is nucleoid? Okay, nucleoid, we have seen nucleus and nucleolus in the last part, so we didn't seen about nucleoid, right? So this one is new thing. So what is nucleoid? Nucleoid is the naked DNA of bacterial cell present in the cytoplasm is called nucleoid. Okay, it is also called genophore or prochromosome. It is the naked DNA which is present inside a bacterial cell, that is known as which is in a prokaryotic cell. We have seen circular DNA will be in direct contact with the cytoplasm. You can see in the picture, right? So that is that naked DNA is known as nucleoid. Okay, coming to the next question, that is list two functions of nucleolus. Here nucleolus we have already seen. What was nucleolus? Nucleolus was the core of the nucleus, right? Where the genetic material DNA with the chromosome, genes and DNA is present. Okay, that is a part which is included inside this nucleolus. So what are two functions? We have to find out the two functions of nucleolus. Okay, so what did this nucleolus help us? It helps in biogenesis of rRNA. So the biogenesis of rRNA means that is the regulation of ribosomes, which is composed of synthesis and import of ribosomal proteins into the nucleus. And here the synthesis and the processing of ribosomal RNA occurs, and the assembly of ribosomal proteins occurs. and there will be a subsequent transport of mature subunits into the cytoplasm. That is the biogenesis of RNA units. Okay, and the second one is spindle fiber formation. That is, spindle formation means it is during cell division at the beginning of that is nuclear division. Two wheel-shaped protein structures called centrioles position themselves at opposite ends of the cells, forming the cell pods. So long protein fibers called microtubules extend from the centrioles in all possible directions, forming such fibers that are called as spindle fibers. So spindle fibers are the apparatus which are refers to the cycloskeletal structures of a eukaryotic cell, which are formed during the cell division to separate the sister chromatins between the daughter cells. So these are the two functions of the nucleolus occurring. You all be knowing regarding nucleolus. It is the region found within the cell nucleus that consists in producing and assembling the cell's ribosomes. Okay, these ribosomes are for protein synthesis. You can definitely see the nucleolus in the pictures. Inside the cell is the nucleolus. Nucleus is there. Inside the nucleus you can see the nucleolus, the core where nucleolus is situated. Okay, that's all from this one. So we'll be going to the next question. Name any three modifications of cell membrane. So you know, cell membrane is the layer found inside the cell wall covering the cell. Okay, that we have to find the three modifications of cell membrane. So there are mainly three modifications. There are desmosomes, and the other one is terminal bars, and third one is microvilli. Okay, so coming to desmosomes. The first one, desmosomes, are intercellular junctions. These are the intercellular junctions, the junction in between the cells. Okay, intercellular junctions that tether intermediate filaments to the plasma membrane. So these are the intercellular junctions, the space in between the cells. Okay, that tether the intermediate filaments. The in between filaments will be there to the plasma membrane found in the cell. And this plasma membrane is the same, that is cell membrane, that is the inner layer coming inside the cell wall, which will be separating the cell from the outer environment. Okay, that is it is also called as plasma membrane. It consists of the lipid bilayers, which is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable means what? It will be easily giving in and out exchange of this cell waste or whatever it is, cell metabolic energy, stored proteins, whatever it is in the cell. It will be able to also ion exchanges happening in the cell. These are transferred through plasma membrane. Okay, so the intercellular junctions which tether the intermediate filaments to this plasma membrane is called desmosomes. That is the modification of cell membrane. Okay, coming to the next one, that is terminal bars. Terminal bars, it is a historical term which was given to the unresolved groups of these junctional complexes that attach the adjacent epithelial cells. Epithelial means cells are the tissues are the tissues which are present on the outer layers. Okay, so these are the junction complexes that are seen in these adjacent epithelial cells in their lateral surface. Lateral means side surface. You can see it in the figure clearly. So coming to next modification, that is microvilli. It is a non-motile finger-like protrusions or projections. Okay, what do you mean by motile? Motile means helping in, which is having its own capability to move. But non-motile means which cannot move. It is stationary. It doesn't move. Okay. So non-motile finger-like projections or protrusions from the apical surface of the epithelial cells. On the surface of the epithelial cells you can see finger-like projections which are having another function. Okay, this is non-motile, and it is having another function, that is it increases the surface area. By that, increasing the surface area of the cell, by that it helps in the efficacy to absorb the things. Cell have to absorb something, so for the efficacy of absorption these microvilli are used. Okay, so these are the non-motile finger-like projections from the apical surface of the epithelial cells which increase the cell surface area and the efficacy of absorption. So you can see that clearly in this one, pictures given down there, it is clearly given, the description also, the more details are not required. These are the questions which are coming for 2 mark or 1 mark questions. Okay, not 2 mark, 1 mark questions. If you want to explain with the help of a picture, you can explain it like that. For a 2 mark or 3 mark detail we can write. Okay, this can come for 3 marks. Okay, desmosomes, terminal bars and microvilli are the modifications of cell membrane. So coming to the next question, that is define nucleosomes. So we have seen what is nucleus, what is nucleolus and nucleoid. Now coming is nucleosomes. So from the word itself it's clear that something is inside the nucleus, right? Nucleosomes. Okay, let's go and check what it is. It is a section of DNA wrapped around a core of protein. Okay, so protein synthesis happens inside this nucleus, right? So it is a section of DNA which is wrapped around a core of protein. Okay, they are darkly stained DNA histones, which is octametric in structure. Octametric means what? It will be having 8 lobes, right? 8. You can see in the figure, right? There are 4 on the upper layer and 4 in the down layer. Okay, lower layer. So that is octametric complexes which are present on a chromatin fiber. So this is the darkly stained DNA histones, which is octametric in structure. It is a complex and also it is present on a chromatin fiber. And what is this chromatin fiber? Chromatin fibers are that is coiled and condensed, which forms the chromosomes. Okay, so chromatin it makes it possible for the possible for a number of cells processes such as DNA replications, transcription, then DNA repairs, genetic recombinations, also in cell divisions. So the chromatin will be coming to the next topic. You will be familiar with these words: chromatin, chromosomes and chromatids, etc. Okay, so now you have to know what is chromatin fiber. It is a coiled condensed which later forms the chromosomes. Okay, so the nucleosomes, these are the DNA which is wrapped around. You can see a string in the picture, right? Red color string, that is the DNA, which is it is a section of that DNA which is wrapped around the core of protein. Okay, it is a darkly stained DNA histone which is octametric in complex and is present in the chromatin fiber. So, and the nucleosomes, it is the fundamental subunit of this chromatin. Okay, so hope you are clear. You can see it in the pictures thoroughly. So coming to the next question, that is what are polycentric chromosomes? Okay, so we have heard about chromosomes. Now it is said that polycentric chromosomes. So chromosomes, you know, it is inside the nucleus. So a chromosome having multiple centromeres. Okay, multiple means it will be having different centromeres, right? And what is a centromere? Centromere, it is a constricted region, that is when you are tying a knot between two. You can see a tug, right? that is that like that the chromosome hands are having a tight in its middle or some other positions, that is called as centromere. Okay, you can see it in the figure. That these constructions that are seen, you can in the figure you can see secondary construction, primary constructions, that is called centromere. Okay, so a chromosome, now we are talking about polycentric chromosomes, right? A chromosome having multiple centromeres like this, you'll be having a multiple places it will be having centromeres, that are called polycentric chromosomes. Okay, an example, it is present in organisms like Parascaris. Parascaris having this type of chromosomes, and polycentric chromosomes are produced by this chromosomal aberrations such as deletion, duplication, and translocation. And it is happening deletion of something, or like duplication, when the cell have to duplicate, or the DNA, the genetic material, then it happens, or translocation, this gene have to be translocated, like mutation, something happening. So at that time the chromosomal aberrations, these polycentric chromosomes are produced. So you can see in the multiple sites constructions are seen in the figure, right? That is telomere, secondary construction is there, kinetochore is there, that is secondary and primary constructions are seen. Okay, in the label diagram you can see it clearly. Okay, so hope you are clear. So coming to the next question, what are SAT chromosomes? SAT, a term can relate to satellite, right? So what are SAT chromosomes? Chromosomes having these secondary constructions that serve as identifications, okay, and satellites. See, chromosomes having secondary constructions. So secondary construction I showed you in the last thing, that is polycentric chromosomes. We have seen that, right? That constructions. So chromosomes having secondary constructions that serves as identification and satellites are called SAT chromosomes. In human, it is usually associated with the short arms of an acrocentric chromosome. You can see in the picture the short arms, it will be having short arms, and acrocentric chromosomes, that all thing we have to go in detail regarding the chromosomes. When we study regarding the chromosomes, I will be explaining that. Okay, now it's not needed because we have to go through a long area. So in the short arm of an acrocentric chromosome, be aware with that term, acrocentric chromosome, such as in the chromosomes present, chromosomes like 13th chromosome, 14th chromosome, 15th chromosome, 21st chromosome, and 22nd chromosome. Okay, so hope you will be knowing there are 23 for each person, right? 23 in one hand, the both person will be getting the parental 23 from one parent and the next parent, and that makes the combination. Okay, so that is that's all. That is SAT chromosomes having secondary constructions that serves as identifications and satellites. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and we'll be going to the short answer questions shortly in the part 3 of this one. Okay, hope you'll have liked my video going with along with me. Hope you all will be with me. So like, share and subscribe for more videos. You can click the bell icon so that you can get the continuous videos what I am uploading. So I'll be putting the link in the description. You can go and search for the first part of the same. And thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you all. Bye. Take care.